Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword, the Smoking Mirror. I have just been bemused. According to the game, in an hour and 30 minutes, we are at 25% done with the game. And that seems insane. We're trying to get into Condor Transglobal. We haven't spent any time except for the very first cutscene with Nicole, which was a problem in general with the first game, is that Nicole kind of needed to follow us around and be our partner and help us.
The din must have drowned out the sound of my knocking. The grill opened from the inside.
It seems like when you play an old LucasArts game like Lego
Maybe there was a way in up there.
Not Lego Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones and the Fate of the Atlantis. You have a female character with you practically the entire time, and I believe in the Last Crusade you have a similar experience where you have at least
the metal
some
housing
other
prevented
character.
me from getting to the fan.
It's pretty typical for point-and-click adventure games to have somebody play off and work with you and give you suggestions while you're trying to play the game. It doesn't always happen, certainly. So we have a guy down here we can see, and we have a guy over here we can see, and it's the two people who kidnapped Nicole. So we've got this fan, we've got those boxes.
The guy was partly hidden behind a stack of crates. The room was filled with transglobal crates. It was the creep who'd kidnapped Nico, and I had a score to settle.
So talking to him doesn't make sense.
It was a powerful fan.
So what if we put this in the fan?
That did the trick. The fan clunked and shorted out as its blades were mashed by the boat hook.
Hey, you make any more noise, I break your arms.
That bully needed to be taught a lesson.
Garzak's already mad because we didn't get the stone. You give me any trouble, I'll tell him it was all your fault.
Karzak? That must be his boss.
So now that the fan is broken,
The metal housing prevented me from getting to the fan.
Is there something I have as far as a tool? Let's go push these clamps around. So we do that, and it drops a alcohol barrel. Do we do it again? Is this an infinite source of barrels? Seems like somebody's gonna be standing there. And if you click on the clamp or the barrel, it seems to do the same thing. So let's go knock on the door, I suppose, and then run up here and see if we can knock the guy down. Am I just running into the solution, if this is the solution, really easily? Or is it simply the fact that there's no other thing that I could even do? It seems so streamlined. Let's see. Let's go with the sarcastic response.
Pizza delivery? I didn't order pizza.
No? This is the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company, isn't it?
I don't like pizza.
Oh, come on. Everyone likes pizza. Maybe he was allergic to mozzarella.
Let's try that again.
Hey, what now?
Now I can only do the pizza one.
Look, this pizza's been paid for. You might as well take it.
I told you, I don't like pizza.
Not even with extra olives?
I hate them. Olives are the devil's butt nuggets.
I guess we have to do this again.
If you know what's good for you, you'll open this door.
What if I don't?
I'll kick your head in.
Okay, I'll come out, you creep.
Alright, so now he's coming out. And I'm coming up here. And let's come over here. And see, that gets his attention over there with the first one. And then we just do another one. This is the second puzzle where we've had to do the same action twice, but it seems to make a lot more sense here. Problem solved. Let's see if this window opens.
The window was jammed shut.
Alright. So we only got the other guy to deal with. And so hopefully we can just walk in here and deal with him. Now I had to jam the fan so I could knock on the door and they would hear me. Let's go to the drawer.
The only interesting thing I found was a small brass key.
Let's look at the notice boards.
Among the paperwork which adorned the notice board was something which caught my eye. It was a delivery note from Condor Transglobal, and the address was Coromante City.
So we have a new thing.
There was a notice board beside the desk with an assortment of paperwork on it.
Filing cabinet.
It was locked.
So I assume the small brass key is for that. We definitely have a lot more
The little brass
items
key didn't fit the lock.
than what we had in the first game. It took us a lot longer to get to the point where we had this many items. And I think we're about to leave this area and probably lose half the things. See the boxes?
All the crates were firmly sealed.
And come over here. Where's the guy?
Whoa! Don't shoot! The little guy had a blowpipe. That confirmed my suspicions about what had happened to Nico. I waited for him to shoot me, but it didn't happen. Instead, he seemed to want to tell me something.
Interesting.
What? What do you want? He seemed excited, almost desperate. What did he want so bad?
Let's give him the dog food.
Hi. I'm not going to hurt you.
Guaramonte!
Is that where you're from? Coromante City?
Guaramonte! Guaramonte!
Okay. Tell me what you've done with Nico, and I'll share these biscuits with you. I knew it sounded lame, trying to bargain with a box of doggy snacks. Besides, how was he to know how yummy they tasted?
Let's ask questions and see if he can answer any of them.
What have you done with my girlfriend?
Huh?
I am not leaving without her. Where is she? He didn't appear to understand me.
So it's kind of pointless to click on these items, but we might as well get as much of the game as we can out of this, since it's happening so fast.
Do you know what this is?
Peito. Lotseka peito. Inyakot lagoino mutu.
I wonder if that's actually appropriately translated. Probably not.
This was the dart you used to knock out my girlfriend. If she's come to any harm, I will count you personally responsible.
Lotte kapaitu fnor.
No, he's just saying gibberish, I would bet.
What does this key unlock?
Huh?
Hey, you're manacled. Who did this? That big thug? I'm gonna set you free, okay?
So, turns out he was a victim too.
Hey, come back here. The little guy had gone to ground amongst the stack of crates.
Okay. 31%. 1/3 of the game almost done. We've got a button to push. We might as well push it. See, and with this remastered gameplay, it's like there's no way you wouldn't be this far this quickly without playing the game and just not clicking on things or interacting with things. Which...
Just in time. Interrupting the beam of light kept the doors from closing and stopped anyone from using the elevator. But what now?
So... use the crate as opposed to stop the elevator?
There. That would keep the doors from closing.
I guess there's no button over here? There's totally a button. What's the switch do? Turns on the light. Let's look at this crate. But there's nobody even chasing me, so...
I was wrestling with the small crate when I noticed the label on its side. Danger. Live contents do not drop. The crate was labeled Danger. Live contents do not drop. There were small holes in the top and sides and scratchy noises coming from inside.
Interesting.
It was a large crate with no label.
And then we've got the statue.
The statue looked as if it was Central or South American in origin. The statue looked way too heavy for me to move.
What am I even trying to do? We were trying to get into the files, I suppose, a little bit. But I'm kind of just wandering around now.
There was no way to open that window.
Let's open this door, I suppose.
A sturdy beam was jammed across the doors. These doors were not going to open. So we have this pulley system that we're going to have to pick up the statue, I guess. There wasn't much I could do with a pulley that didn't have any rope.
I don't have any rope, but I do have the manacles. See, it seems like
the short chain
guy...
stopped the cuffs reaching from the statue to the winch.
Seemed like the guy had to be manacled just
The short chain stopped the cuffs reaching from the statue to the winch.
So let's use the pallet carrier to raise it. Too many things in this one section. There's 4 different things.
There wasn't enough room to move the handle.
So, photoelectric cell with lipstick? Or move the crate back now?
I couldn't move the crate until I blocked the light beam with something else.
Underwear, light beam. Dog biscuits, light beam. Silver, light beam. Label.
The label just wasn't sticky enough to stay in place.
Interesting. Article with the light beam. Paper with light beam. Other paper with a light beam. Button.
Nothing happened. That was probably because the elevator was already on this floor.
And we tried everything here, right? There's some scratch marks here. I guess that's one more item to deal with.
There was an arc-shaped scratch on the floor, as if a door had been opened in the nearby wall.
So, secret door.
My fingers traced the outline of a secret door in the wall. Then I found a small round stud, which was set flush to the surrounding wooden paneling. Just as I'd hoped. A secret room.
That would have been really frustrating if it took me like an hour to find that. Particularly if you didn't
Nico!
have the... Oh, so she wasn't in Central America at all. She was just here. And I have unlocked a bonus comic artwork. Well, gee, how do you even see that? Is it 35% done with the game? And is that hidden over here? Yeah. So we'll look at all the comic artwork at the end of the game, which isn't that far. Let's grab this fetish idol. Oh, that's a weird phrase.
Will you look at this? It was a small statue of a kneeling figure in an ornate headdress. The head was hideous, with huge staring eyes set in a decomposing face. Hey, somebody's marketing Labino dolls.
Untie her. Come on, this is ridiculous. Don't leave her tied up. He did this in the first game too, and this is one of the a couple of factors that show George is written as kind of a jerk by today's standards. He left her tied and kissed her at the first game. He changed her name all the time.
There. How you feeling?
To Nico.
Thanks, George. How on earth did you find me?
I knew Ubier had been in Marseille. But never mind about me. How about you tell me exactly what's going on, starting with that Mayan stone?
I picked it up from one of Karzak's men in Paris. I was expecting a consignment of narcotics.
Drugs?
Yes. The proof I needed to expose Karzak's smuggling operation. I'd set it up to act as his courier.
Look at how
and once
she
I had the
Nicole
proof,
looks
I planned
here
to go straight
versus
to
here.
Inspector Mou.
She
But instead of the dope
really
I'd
looks
expected,
bad here.
they sent me that stone instead. And to find out more, I called Professor Ubier, who invited me to his mansion. At least, I thought it was Ubier.
I don't get it. If Karzak's business is drugs, why is he so desperate to get his hands on that stone?
Maybe it has some significance to the local people in Central
Their
America.
lips are moving
It
at
could
least when
be
they talk.
Karzak's means of getting
here.
them to work for him.
That
Anyway,
wasn't in the first
We've
game.
got to get out of here.
And she's in a really
wait.
short dress for the adventures she goes on. Alright.
We can't use the elevator. If that thug Pablo's recovered, he'll be waiting for us.
We've got to do something. Where does that door lead
She
to?
sounds a
I'm
little
not sure.
weird now. But the audio doesn't sound anywhere as bad as it did in the first game. Just... It's kind of cheap remasters. If they couldn't afford to do it right, I don't know why they bothered to do it at all. Let's use the rope
I
and the
wasn't
manacles.
convinced that was the right thing to do.
Let's see if the rope works on the pulley.
It would be much easier to attach the rope to the statue first.
Let's see, rope to the statue. And then the rope to the pulley. It
The
doesn't
rope
reach.
wasn't long enough to reach the pulley.
And chain to to the rope. And chain to the pulley.
The short chain stopped the cuffs reaching from the statue to the winch.
This seems so strange.
I decided to leave the electric eye alone.
Let's move the crate.
I couldn't move the crate until I'd blocked the light beam with something else.
Maybe we could talk to Nicole. Let's try giving Nicole everything while we're here. Let's just exhaust all of our items and try to have a longer experience through that.
What was it you wanted to talk about?
I didn't think she'd be interested.
Let's ask her everything and then I guess probably not bother to try all the items because he's just going to take forever to say. I didn't think she'd be interested.
Okay, tell me what you know about Condor.
Condor Transglobal exports Aztec and Mayan relics from Central America to Europe. But that's just a cover for the real business. Drug smuggling.
What proof do you have?
Nothing yet.
And see, getting a lot of directionality on the audio again.
Do you know where Condor is based?
In Central America. A place called Quaramonte.
I saw that name on a docket downstairs. Tell me about this Karzak guy.
Well, I saw him for only a few minutes, but he frightened me. I got the impression that Pablo was nervous when he was around too. His eyes, they're like a wild animal's, like a tiger. That's what scared me most about him. He looked so unpredictable and dangerous.
Did you know Ubier's wife was a film star?
No, I didn't know he was married. What happened to her?
She died. In mysterious circumstances, apparently.
How mysterious.
I heard she was murdered. Possibly by Ubier himself.
A murderer, huh? André said he was something of a celebrity.
Did I hear you refer to Inspector Moo?
Yes, you remember him?
Inspector Moo from the first game? Yes, let's say yes. This might actually be the only yes-no response in the entire game, too. At least a remastered version.
Of course I do. But I thought he was dead.
Oh no, he reappeared after the broken sword case had blown over. When he found out who was in with the Neo-Templars, he went into hiding. Moo knew more than was good for him.
Does he know about our involvement with the case?
If he does, he's not telling. Still, he got a sudden promotion.
Did that Indian guy mistreat you?
If you forget about the abduction, verbal threats, and bondage, no.
Well, what about the little guy?
I don't think he knows where he is or what he's doing here. The big guy, Pablo, he brought Titipoco from the jungle.
Titty what?
Titipoco. That's what I heard Pablo call the dwarf.
Okay.
Do you recognize this?
Is that the dart which knocked me out?
That's right. I kept it as a souvenir. Have you any idea who this little statue is supposed to be?
I'm not very well acquainted with Mayan deities, George. But whatever his name, he sure is ugly.
Let's ask about the chains first.
Look, the little guy downstairs was chained up with these.
That must have been Pablo's doing. I don't blame him, though. That little guy is dangerous.
You're still sore about that poisoned dart?
Of course I'm sore.
And then let's ask about the underwear.
I found these in your bag.
Oh, they were a gift.
I know. I read the note.
God knows what was going through Andre's mind.
I think that's quite plain enough.
Wow, it feels like in the original game there might have been more of a conversation there. Well, how can I do this? I need to move this crate. And to move this crate, I need to move this crate.
I didn't want to risk dropping the crate and releasing its live contents.
Can I move this crate? Just push it.
No chance. Whatever those crates contained, they were heavy.
And the pallet carrier, I can't.
There wasn't
lift
enough
up.
room to move the handle.
I need that pallet calendar to move. So Maybe I can wait till she walks over here.
I couldn't move the crate until I blocked the light beam with something else.
And I don't have anything other than this statue. And so I don't know, like, throw the statue through the window? Is that the solution?
There was no way to open that window.
And see, I know what to do here. It's just not really working for me at all. Let's see. Any of these things could probably just work.
The label just wasn't sticky enough to stay in place.
Is there... Would this make the label sticker?
No, that's wrong.
No. This would block the cell. This could block the cell. The box of biscuits could block the cell. That... Nope. Let's come over here and just start handing things to her. Like, take your lipstick.
What was it you wanted to talk about?
I didn't think she'd be interested.
And so she's got nothing to say. Let's go back in here and maybe find some item that's been left. We may have to just... Oh, tape. I don't think you could have picked up the tape before. Because I thought I tried to pick
I decided
it
to
up.
keep the masking tape. It was bound to be of some use to me.
Wow, that's really ridiculous if they just made it so you had to walk back in the room. Just artificially trying to lengthen this game, and it's not going to work one bit because here we are. 2 hours in, 35% done. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I was not expecting this. Not for a second. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. On the right is a button that says support this channel. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.